Head to the Gold Coast for a fast, flat race this July. Whether you're looking for a personal best time or a winter break with the family, the Gold Coast Marathon on the 1st and 2nd July has it all. The weekend of events includes a distance for everyone, the Gold Coast Marathon, CPL Wheelchair Marathon, ASICS Half Marathon, Southern Cross University 10K, CPL Wheelchair 10K, Gold Coast Airport 5K, and the Health and Wellbeing Queensland 2 and 4 kilometre junior dash. It's fast, it's flat, and it's scenic. Enter now at goldcoastmarathon.com.au.
That your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place? Under cover of my skin, I've heard all your names if it's all the same.
And welcome to the Inside Running Podcast, Shoe Geeks edition, the month of May. I'm joined here by Julian in Geelong. How you travelling, mate?
Hey, mate. Yeah, I'm going good. Thank you.
Back in the shoe shop. You blurred the background there. You don't want us to see what's in stock.
Yeah, you could probably have a squeeze. Like, hold on a sec.
Can see some Nike boxes back there. That's all I can
take the background off for a sec. See?
There you go.
But I don't want everyone to see what's going on, so I'm going to blur it.
I miss that a little bit, Tommy, don't you? Do you miss working in the sort of, the boxes at the
back?
Yeah,
going in the back room. Yeah.
Yeah. I do miss that a little
bit. Walk in today. We're open, so we might have some staff come past at some point looking for some shoes.
Fair enough.
We'll see some live action. Good.
And how are you going, Tommy? Are you in a better mood, happier mood this week?
Better mood. I've done like 5 runs, so
good.
It's amazing.
And look, give us a bit of an update. Like, how's the hip feeling, and did you end up getting a diagnosis or anything like that?
So basically, I've got this annoyingly vague diagnosis of SIJ syndrome. That's what we're going with. So I've had 2 MRIs, both were clear for bone stress. So sacrum clear, neck of femur clear. So then ruled out those, and so likely cause of the symptoms, I would say, and after chatting to both sports doc and physio, and what I think is just joint-related pain. Yep. Probably not hip, probably more that junction of the lower back to the pelvis. So, yeah, it's come with like anti-inflams are good, and rest, and I just got to build back now.
It's good. And the boys on the main podcast sort of ripped into it a little bit last episode, talking a bit about maybe the dietary stuff might have been a risk factor. And turns out no bone stress, so pretty safe and plenty
People
of
talk
energy.
To me about it after, they, they're thinking that I'm like in trouble. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. Like you just carefully. Yeah, just watch. Don't eat crap and train, and you may lose a little bit of weight, and you may get a bit easier to get into race weight. And yeah, I don't think this injury is related to. It's not like I was like going hard on calorie restriction. Like a lot of people think that I was like
real defensive.
What are people saying about depleting? And I'm like, depleting. That's a very heavy word. Like.
Yeah, Tommy, it's 2023 now, and it's those kind of conversations are awkward these days, and they're had a bit more often. So people aren't used to fit young men like you talking about that. And anyway,
it is what it is. Like
Nitta, not fit
old man, fit old man.
Definitely not fit. Yeah. Far out. I didn't go cross training, and I'm not fit.
So look, 5 runs. What shoes have you been able to wear in those 5 runs?
So just so I had something to talk about, I ran a new shoe, the Cloud Surfer. So got given that shoe from On probably just before I think I cooked my back. And done the 5 runs in it. So far, I'm enjoying it. So I'll just get it up. This is it.
Yeah, cool.
So new shoe from On. So it's the first shoe that does not have a speed board. And that's the first thing I noticed. I was saying the shoe, it just felt softer. So I've enjoyed it. So I mean, I know we've probably chatted about how On has not been our first pick of a running shoe brand gone by, just from the firm nature of them. And also I've always found the pods a little bit like disjointed. Like I don't like the sensation of feeling segmentation in the midsole. I just want to feel like a smooth ride without feeling like the midsole's got different little pods and sections to it. So the Cloud Surfer is the first. I mean, the Monster was pretty smooth, probably because the Monster, those segmentations on the were very like shallow. If you go back to like the old school ones here, you can see those segmentations are quite large, so they're deep. So this shoe, which they still sell like with the same midsole unit, it's an old shoe, but I think it's still the same.
It is.
Same one they what's that one called? The Flow.
That's the Cloud 5, I think.
Yeah, so going from those, like I would say I enjoy this shoe more than the Monster. It's probably controversial talking to you guys, but I enjoy it more than the Monster because it's lighter and softer. So those two attributes I quite like in shoes. I like a light shoe, soft shoe. It's got both of those, and it's I don't mind a bit of flexibility. So it hasn't got the speed board, so the forefoot flexes more. For the purpose I use this for, which is all I'm doing now, short, easy runs. It's perfect. Short, easy runs in a nice, soft, flexible shoe. Plenty of cushion. It doesn't bottom out yet for me. So although it's soft foam, I don't feel like I'm hitting the ground.
Yeah,
really. Yeah, because that's the first thing that I felt up front. Felt those pods just like I feel that. So you feel the pods compress, but then when you get there, I still feel the guts of the midsole. So I do feel that. It feels like it quickly gets to there. But then I feel like then it's still got something. It is a bit weird having that like initial very softness and then feeling the midsole contact each other and then feel another sensation of cushion. But I don't get the bottoming out sensation. Yeah,
it bottoms out to the point of the middle of the foam, I find. I feel like there's a bit of foam beneath the area. And look, I took it for 90 minutes. It was fire track, and it definitely probably not the best example of whether it bottoms out by the end of 90 minutes. It still felt softer. Look, it probably doesn't feel as good at the end of 90 minutes. Only difference in the Cloud Monster, I did find the shoe probably didn't really change much after a long run. It was pretty good at the start, firmer, but didn't deteriorate. This shoe to me is probably better to the hour mark, and 90 minutes was truly pushing it for this one. But lightweight, fun, economical shoe. I don't know what's it retail at, this shoe, Julian?
$250.
$250. Yeah, okay. So I mean, categorically, I guess you're putting it next to an Invincible more than likely in terms of a cushion shoe, but it's not as high stack as that shoe, I don't believe. So. Maybe a second run shoe. For me, it's been a warm up, cool down shoe almost every single run. I've really enjoyed it, but I haven't actually used it for much more than 1 90-minute run. So I can't give it a really good synopsis yet, but it's definitely their softest shoe. And I like that from them because I haven't had heaps of soft shoes from them that I've enjoyed. So you've tried it out a bit. You've tried it out, Julian, on mainly shop floor though, hasn't it?
I just walked around in it and I couldn't stand it. I felt like the back was just way too soft, especially like on the outside corner, just fell away immediately. And then as I transitioned into toe off, even just walking, I'm like, it just disappeared. Like you
hit that part of your foot a lot more walking than you do running though, Julian. Like it's sort of, you can emphasize the outside part of the heel collapsing laterally when you're walking, but when 80%
you're running, of people hit that area.
Yeah, but you don't notice it as much when you're running. You're not spending as much time there, I don't reckon. Whereas, you're probably on the shop floor emphasizing that subconsciously as well.
More force running through that back corner. More force when you're running. Anyway, well, I won't wear it. There are other shoes from the brand I like, but not that one. We'll move on because I've given it a spray a few times.
It has its place, I think. It just might not be that long run shoe. Since we've all had Super Blast in the past couple, months, and even the Nimbus 25, and Actually, I've had the Triumph recently as well, the 20th version. It's taken me a year to get that shoe, and that's, polar opposite acting foam. It's really resilient foam, really responsive foam. I find the shoe relatively stable, even though it's high stack and quite firm. Look, I reckon I need a bit of time to knock it in. I don't know what you were like, Julian. Like, I reckon the first run felt a bit firm. The second one feels a bit better. The sock liner, I don't know if you've got it in front of you at the moment, but the sock liner inside that shoe it really makes the shoe comfortable. It's a TPU sock liner. It's probably 4 mils of thickness, I reckon. It's more than 3 mils, yeah. And if you can, that's the shoe. Can you pull the sock liner out?
Certainly.
This is the best sock liner in running, I reckon.
Yeah, it's comfy.
Yeah. TPU. Remember, like they used to just have the script of Everrun underneath the normal sock liners, probably only about 2 years ago, and now it's part of the sock liner with the with the material on top. It's a beautiful feeling material, and I know Saucony. We had Marshall come in to show the range for the upcoming year, and even the Saucony Ride's going to sort of move towards the beaded foam or the PB Plus, which is going to be a huge upgrade for that particular shoe, which is sort of a mid-range mileage shoe. So the Saucony midsoles seem resilient, but they're really fun. Maybe not as plush underfoot, but probably a bit more responsive. So I know Tom used that piece. Yeah, Tom used that PIBA midsole, that PIBA. You got a strip of it at work. You've been putting it into sock liners for patients, haven't you?
TPU. Yeah. So it just highlights like how much the sock liner or insole can affect the feel of the shoe. It's like the outsole, like we chatted about. The outsole affects the ride as well, but so does the insole. So yeah, nice few mils of TPU as the sock liner is nice. Yeah, so Saucony are doing a good job there, I reckon, with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's a nice mileage shoe. It feels a bit.
Yeah.
It feels closer to the Cloud Monster, resilient sort of foam, maybe a little bit firmer, perhaps. Doesn't compress quite as much with obviously the pods compress more on the Cloud Monster, but I reckon that's going to be a good long run shoe as well. So it feels pretty responsive. So I reckon you could pick the pace up in it pretty comfortably if you needed to. So I reckon you'd probably enjoy that, Tom. You had the Tempest, which you were using anyway, which has, I believe they use the PIBA. Are they using the PIBA based midsole with a bit hybrid midsole with
PB Plus? It was. I like that shoe. I'd probably like Triumph maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, we're seeing an update.
What else have been in there?
Big update or small update?
Small update, just the upper. Stay the same underneath. It shouldn't be a big change at all. Yeah, the upper's pretty good now. Maybe it's a little shallow for some people.
Yep.
Fits about half size short too, or a quarter size perhaps.
Does a bit. Saucony I found a bit more comfortable, 10.5 on the smaller side. I normally 10 in some of the ASICS shoes like the Super Blast, so a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
What about you, Julian? You've come back from a bit of a back injury. Volume's a bit lower, but you've also been back running, but you've also seen some new shoes as well.
Yeah. So we had our conference this week and got to see samples from different brands. Because they're not due until next year, we can't really talk too much about them. But there was I've put together like an assortment list for my store based on what I saw, and like the exciting stuff obviously goes on there as well as like the successful stuff and stuff we think will have a place. There's two main like super shoes out there that I sort of looked at, three actually that are going to be coming out 2024 early. One from New Balance, one from Saucony and Nike. So there are others, but they're the three that I looked at and thought, this is going to be good. And you can have people put the samples on if they're close enough in size. Every brand's a little different in terms of what their size is for a sample. And even within the samples, sometimes they come out of the factory really weird with the wrong densities and they don't feel exactly like what production is. But the overwhelming feedback was those two shoes in particular. We don't see the Nike samples, but those two shoes, bloody awesome. Real exciting. Yeah. And from like a mileage standpoint, look, probably less exciting on the mileage shoe Let me just have a quick look if I've sort of pegged anything that I can't quite remember. Like little
Well,
tweaks.
it makes sense. Like a mileage shoe right now, there's plenty of options for good quality mileage shoes right now. It's hard to update a lot of them. There's one brand, Tommy, you'd agree with, I think should upgrade their mileage shoes a bit more. I think Nike nailed their racing flats at the moment. It'd be nice to see a few of their, like the historical shoes get a bit better again, like the Vomero and, even the Pegasus as well, to catch up to the market in the volume shoes.
I saw a Vomero 5 come in the other day.
A Vomero 5? No way.
Yeah.
They're releasing them again as
that's what I saw.
Lifestyle shoes. You did see it. Yeah, right.
Lifestyle. Cool. Yeah.
A lady came in today and I was looking at it. It was an Adidas, like, I don't know what it was, but I couldn't tell if it was a really old, like, running shoe or whether if it was one of the new lifestyle shoes they released. Because they kind of release them in these dirty whites that make them look old. And so I just I couldn't work it out. I stared at it for like 5 minutes. But yeah, the Nike will release, like, actually it's not too far away. Let me just let you know when one of their main neutral shoes will update. Hasn't had an update for ages. So we're going to see that come through in, I think it's October. And it's pretty good. So it's a good update on what they've got. I think they can still improve it a lot, but it's going to do a lot better than the current one.
Can you tell us if this is the Infinity or not?
Oh, no. No, it's
not. Julian is not like the Infinity 4.
You're going to be in for a shock. I hope you pay full whack for a pair too.
From the pics I've seen floating around online, there's no plastic clip in the next one. I thought you'd like that.
You should get one.
I haven't checked the weight of it. Imagine a size 13 for that shoe looks like it'd be on the heavier side as well. So.
Now there's 3 shoes dropping though next month or the month after that all play in the same area. So Super Comp Trainer from New Balance is coming out, the new version.
Yep.
We'll talk about it more in depth when it gets here, but it's going to be lower stack than the current one. A little bit more fun.
Bit of health,
crazy.
Bit more of a encapsulated heel counter going on in that one compared to the previous version, or
it's a different cup. It feels more like an old, pretty much like what you'd run tempo runs in. Whereas now it almost it's like a weird niche area that it plays in.
It's an offloading tool at the moment. Like it's a real deloading tool. I could run with the calf strain and that super comp currently. It's that offloading. Yeah,
but it's still not PIBA, but it's still their kind of high end foam. And then Saucony bring out the Kinvara Pro, which is similar to what the Super Comp Trainer is, but I think it's a lot firmer and maybe a little bit more jogger rather than faster shoe. And Hoka bring out Mac X. So Mac X is again plated lightweight trainer.
Yeah. And the Mac's always been that sort of in that area as a bit of a daily. It's been like almost like an endorphin speed, hasn't it? Like you use it for a bit of everything. I haven't seen the Mac for a while though.
I think they had stock issues, but it's been popular. Every time we've had it in, it's for that old school feel. Like Tom would love it, I reckon. Like it's light, but it's relatively soft. Your foot is close to the ground. 4-mil drop. Yeah. So the Mac X though, that gets a plate in it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's going to be a bit faster.
Yep. Speaking of shoes with a plate, I've done a couple workouts mainly on grass. Is in the Super Comp trainer. So not the trainer, the Super Comp racer. Yeah. So it's got a plate, a very, very superficial plate. The foams. Look, it says it's like around about close to 30 mils of foam, but it doesn't feel that way when you put it on. But I think that's relative to what I have been wearing. And I've done this in a couple grass runs, workouts. It's really stiff. You still feel the rocker and the stiff. It does give the emphasis that when you start to have a plate in the shoe and it's low to the ground, the plate becomes really emphasized in the shoe. So it's almost too firm for me when I'm wearing this particular shoe, even though the foam is really nice. It's got the fuel cells, but the energy arc's almost too stiff in this particular shoe. But for a grass, I'm trying to make my calves a bit more tolerant to wearing a low profile shoe. Whether the plate's offsetting that, I'm not sure. So it's probably a slightly better casual shoe than it is a running shoe for me, tolerance wise. And Tom, I know you've worn this. I think you might have shown it as well, perhaps around about World Cross time. This is we got a couple cross country meets coming up. This is Saucony's terminal. So these are this was the one complaint you had, wasn't it, Tom? The cutouts along the midsole of the foam through here. But it is the Power Run HG foam, so it is quite responsive. It is soft underfoot. It runs a bit small and it runs a little bit narrow, as a lot of spikes do. Big heel counter though, really deep heel counter that's got 6 mil heel pitch put into it. So I'm interested to try this foam out on the track and on cross country in the next couple of weeks as well. So it probably sits at around about, I think is it below 20 mils or is it above 20 mils?
I'd say above.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's around 20.
Yep.
It's a nice, it's a nice spike, but as you said, it's definitely on the narrow side.
Especially compared to a Dragonfly, which is probably a bit more anatomical, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But, those holes they collect. If you're gonna which most people won't. Well, I guess some would cross country, and that's in that spike. You're going to collect mud if it's a muddy course. I reckon the shoe doubled its weight at the end of that cross country race when I wore that shoe. Because it's extremely light, it's lighter than the Dragons. The cushion to weight, the cushion is still pretty decent. It feels pretty well cushioned. But you're going to collect some mud.
That's it.
Yeah.
What are you wearing at cross country at the moment, Julian? You've got the Dragon.
I wore the Dragon at Giles Park. Still the most popular shoe out there. And then Brie actually wore that Supercomp Pacer. She got a pair. She got the samples, I think, and she liked them. She does a few grass workouts, so wears that quite often.
Good.
And then this week is 8K, a bit hillier. I've had a little bit of an Achilles niggle, so I'm thinking I should go to back to a higher pitch shoe. Just trying to work out which one I wear. I might even try the On Cloud Boom Echo. Echo Boom.
A bit firmer as well.
It's firmer, I just don't know how the grip will be. It depends how wet the course is. So I'll take that, and I'll take the New Balance RC 1.
You still got that? You still got an RC 1? Wow.
I only wear it twice or 3 times a year, but it's worth keeping for its grip.
Yeah.
This here, though, this is something that you guys should refer for all the time. This is Vivo Barefoot. So this is the Prime Light 3. This has a stack height of 2.5 mil.
But does it?
Pure rubber, no foam. Nice flared forefoot, so very human shaped, and super flexible. I can twist it into a ball. So you guys, if you ever have that knee injury that you want to unload, Nitta, you know how much of a difference footwear can make. Vivo Barefoot for the naturalists out there.
Who's buying that shoe and what are they using it for predominantly?
Someone who's into the concept, who's a believer or a follower, and they're wearing it to walk in or perhaps do the gym, wear in the gym. That's there is one coming that's got trail lugs on it, 4 mil, and that might be a walking shoe because it's got a little bit more protection. But geez, this we say Ultra is kind of minimal because it's 0 drop. It's got a wide forefoot. Some are flexible, but this is minimal.
So who would you recommend if someone comes into the store and they're looking for advice rather than someone that's already bought into the whole barefoot thing? When would you say, look, why don't you try this shoe on?
It's really rare we will bring this out. We have to pretty much get directives from the customers, to be honest. To say I want to try a barefoot shoe or a minimal shoe.
Gym is the place.
But people don't. It's rare someone buys a shoe just for the gym that they won't wear walking.
It's true.
Yeah. If you're walking, this here is the Keen Newport H2. So now it's blurred, isn't it?
If you're walking in summer, you mean, or what? Or walking
No,
with my long woolly socks in winter?
I reckon. Well, I've been wearing it for work lately. So it's got this massive, big rubber sole, super grippy. It's pretty stiff. Like a lot of people wear thongs. This is a great option to get out of that. Better for your feet. It's got like an arched footbed, antimicrobial, so you can wear it. It doesn't smell. Waterproof.
Pretty anatomical fit as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They've sold 70 million of these worldwide. Think about
like
that.
A New Balance 624 type scenario.
The population of Australia times like 3. They've sold that many of these.
Keen is good for that anatomical fit. I'll give them that as a brand. They do well with making sure it's not going to be cramping the toes.
What? That's all you give them?
Pretty durable though, as well.
Durable and comfort. We got the boot in the Nexus Pro, the Nexus Waterproof. Sorry, that thing is a comfortable boot, or a hiking shoe, we'll call it. Yeah. Well, I won't go too far down there because we got some questions for Gold Coast Marathon. So let me pull up some questions. I'm gonna grab it here. So I'm going to ask you to, and I'm going to pepper you with a couple. All right. So, all right. Are some super shoes better for slower speeds? What's a marathon shoe for around 5 minute a K pace?
You know the guy we interviewed on here,
Dustin
Gerbert. He actually did a paper looking at running economy changes at lower paces. And look, the short of it was that 16 kilometers per hour is usually the marker that they measure running economy with these shoes, sort of universally used amongst all the papers. And this paper looked at, I think it was 12 Ks per hour of memory. And so much slower. So I think that is 5 minute K pace, isn't it? 12 Ks per hour. And look, all the super shoes were pretty economical at that slower pace, but it wasn't quite as high a give back. So you were probably about, I think it was 2 or 3% more economical, or 1 to 3% more economical at those slower paces with the super shoes. So look, which probably means that all the super shoes are probably still going to be beneficial for that person at that slower pace. But in saying that, look, person that's generally running slower, chime in if you think I'm wrong here, tends to be mechanically probably a bit less sound, like a longer ground contact time compared to someone running to close to 3 to 3:30 K pace or 4 minute K pace even. Usually a little bit more surface area and a bit more stiffness in the shoe probably does look after that runner a bit more at the end. So if you grab all of the super shoes and line them up and look at the ones that are a bit more surface area to them from the rear foot to the forefoot, they might be the cleanest shoe. So right now, looking at things like the shoes that transition from heel to toe pretty nice, like the Endorphin Pro 3, maybe even the Supercomp V3 Elite, for example. These might be slightly nicer shoes for that population. They're a little bit slower, because people who are still running the marathon will benefit from super shoes. Maybe not quite as much from those who are wearing maybe the third version currently of the Vaporfly. Probably is still the highest performer if you grab a population. But it might not work quite as well for those running at a slower pace, and relative to other variables like, too much movement in the shoe, falling off the midsole, for example. So I would say you're looking for the more conservative shoes. And you know what they are, Julian. You work in retail, you get to see the populations that pop into all these shoes, and you can almost intuitively match the runner's ability to the shoe, can't you?
Yeah, and you can offer it to them. I wonder though, we've got a local physio who's doing a study on the gait changes in super shoes, and she's sort of seeing that it takes a lot more force to get across a plate when you're running at slow paces, and so noticing quite a bit of gait change with these new shoes at slower paces. So she's quite almost against it, which is interesting. Yeah, and I mean I don't really know. I know that I don't quite enjoy jogging in them. At slow paces for me, it feels pretty average. Feels like it's.
But remember when you're jogging at 5 minute K pace, you're not feeling much else. You're not feeling a heart rate. You're not feeling effort. When these guys are running at 5 minute K pace, they're running closer to their threshold or just below their threshold for a marathon. they're probably perceptually feeling like they're moving a bit faster compared to what you're used to, if that makes sense. I think the absolute difference of someone's pace is not the same as someone's relative difference. If someone's running at an effort that's 5-minute K pace, that's 85% of their heart rate. Look, they're searching for an economy boost. I think that there's benefit to the shoes as well. Yes, there's obviously the risks in terms of motion and movement and getting over a plate, but look, that's also variables of the plate. Like I struggle to get over the Sky Plus plate because it's so high, the plate in the shoe, whereas the ones that curve down deeper, well, you get over that plate a bit quicker because the plate drops down halfway through the shoe. So there's other variables. And so, that's why I think things like the Super Comp and the Pro 3 will be quite good for the populations that are a little bit slower. They can get over that plate a bit easier because the plate does it for them.
Yeah, I think try it on is the key here. And try it on, have a run on the treadie. And we can do that now. It's not like we're in this period where it sells out in 2 minutes. You can sort of get in and find the right fit for yourself. Because if you're doing a marathon and you're running 5 minutes a K, you're going to be out there for 4 hours or so, 3.5 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the fit and how the shoe feels around your foot is so much more important, I think, than how bouncy the foam is.
You'd still be looking at the comfort factor here. I'm going for what feels comfortable.
Yeah, and I'm changing my thinking every time I go out for a longer run around that. Like picking the shoe on what I know at 35K will still fit my around my foot well with no foot health issues there.
And look, you don't know sometimes until you do it either, right? So like that Endorphin Elite, I love that shoe when I'm running for 0 to 10 minutes and I'm hitting the same spot. The foam's a bit firmer. My feet go a little bit numb. That's not irritable for 10 minutes, but it's irritable at 20 minutes, for example.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed that with the SC. I mean, the Endorphin Elite too.
Head to the Gold Coast for a fast, flat race this July. Whether you're looking for a personal best time or a winter break with the family, the Gold Coast Marathon on the 1st and 2nd July has it all. The weekend of events includes a distance for everyone, the Gold Coast Marathon, CPL Wheelchair Marathon, ASICS Half Marathon, Southern Cross University 10K, CPL Wheelchair 10K, Gold Coast Airport 5K, and the Health and Wellbeing Queensland 2 and 4 kilometre junior dash. It's fast, it's flat, and it's scenic. Enter now at goldcoastmarathon.com.au.
All right, next question. There's a lot of super shoe questions here. So this is in partnership with Gold Coast Marathon. So what I'm going to do is ask a more specific question. You're in prime marathon PB shape and racing on the Gold Coast. What shoe are you wearing?
Tom, this was you not long ago, mate. And then it got taken away from beneath you.
I was mid-session thinking, I'm actually pretty fit here. This is going to be good. And then I had to stop because of my back. But I was in the Vaporfly 3 from Nike. That would definitely be the shoe I'd be in on the Gold Coast.
What were you going to wear that year when you were over there? You were staying at, staying in a hostel and preparing by yourself, and the Gold Coast Marathon got taken away in the last. You were going to decide between the Vaporfly. You were considering the ASICS, weren't you?
Yeah, I had the Sky version 1 and the Nike Vaporfly V1 as well.
Yep.
I would have wore the Vaporfly V1, but I was training in the Sky V1 a lot, and I wouldn't have been bothered if I didn't have the Vaporflies and I had to wear the ASICS because they were a close second. But definitely Vaporfly, man.
Yeah. What about you,
Nitta? I'd wear the Alpha Fly 1, but look, my Alpha Fly 1s are just about at their end stage, so probably the Alpha Fly 2. I still like them enough. They're the closest to the Alpha Fly 1.
Yeah, all right. I would put on the Super Comp Trainer, the Super Comp Racer V3.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Super Comp Elite V3. They're changing the names a lot. That's my shoe, and it's not the most super, but it's the best fit. And
but like you said, it's I reckon it's super for the end of a marathon. I reckon. I think you'd really enjoy that shoe at the end of a marathon.
Yep, good one. Next question. I'll try to go something different here. geez, super shoes are
Actually,
popular.
a quick question for you, because Toby ran the 44Ks on Sunday. He wore the Endorphin Elite. How did he find it for the full, 2.5 hours or whatever?
Said he got said he was fine actually. So he was cooked though. The bloke was struggling big time at the end, and he was running real slow as well. So it's a he didn't make any specific comments on that, but another one of the fellas here, he ran the half marathon, and it was his first half, and he wore the Super Comp Elite. And actually, our whole staff here wear the Super Comp. I mean,
you mean the Endorphin Elite?
The Endorphin Elite, The whole staff get around it. So, Jazz, who does tries, wears it, and then Josh wore it at Canberra. Had no issues with slipping in the wet. I know some people get on board that, but it's hasn't been a problem there for Josh. And then Dan wore it on the weekend in the half. Said he got sore feet towards the end, but he didn't have to slow down because of it. And Toby wore it for the full. So it's if you're going to pick a shoe as a store favorite in here, that's it at the moment.
Yeah.
Interesting. Bit odd to get sore feet in a super shoe.
Nah, you kidding?
No, I'm not.
With how stiff those plates are.
I'm just comparing this to traditional racing flats. Do you remember those? Bloody hell, I got sore feet in those.
No one used to wear them, though. That's the thing. It was only the top-end racers that wore them. Maybe the top 20, and everyone outside of that would just wear their training shoes.
Well, this is just it. Like, it's funny. I was listening to the Ed Goddard podcast on Inside Running, the main show, and he made a good point. Like, the difference in the population who wore those really, like the Mayfly and Streaks and things like that, those guys were economical because they were high performers. But if you grab the average person wearing the Vaporfly now, running 3.5 to 4.5 hours for a marathon, that'd be less economical in that shoe, I'd say, by the end of the marathon, just for like mechanical trauma reasons, etc. They can't handle the shoe as well. And those populations are going to be more economical at the end of the marathon, more than likely wearing a Saucony Ride like Julian would do, back in the day, because there is more substance to the shoe, a bit more protective. Yes, the first part wouldn't be as economical because the shoe's a bit heavier, but things change in the marathon and the economy is lost here, there, and everywhere. So, and at the end of the marathon, it's not quite the same. You were tough enough to be able to wear a Mayfly and a Lunar Racer for the marathon because you probably weighed 60 kilos, Tom. So probably cutting calories into the marathon.
Doesn't mean that he did it well, though, because his PB was...
Well, he won. He did it pretty well. He did win Melbourne Marathon, so he did it pretty well.
What was his time?
That was a windy day, mate.
What was your time?
It's 2:20.
2:21 Melbourne Marathon? No, it didn't.
Huh?
That's like 15th place these days.
Yeah, I don't know if you ran that year. That year was just wild. It was like gale force winds. Do you not remember?
I remember. I wore the Zoom Elite 9.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
nice.
That's not bad, though.
It wasn't a racing shoe, though.
It was close to it, just a bit heavier.
Bit heavier, that's right. I was looking for heavier. I was in that. I was preempting the super shoe area. High cushion.
Yeah, I would have definitely wore the Lunar Racer for second marathon if it wasn't for the Vaporfly coming out the year after.
Yeah,
it was too minimal. The Mayfly was definitely too minimal for the marathon.
I got a good one here. You'll love this, you boys, because you'll be all about it. I missed it. The lesser stability of racing shoes. All right, let me reword it because it hasn't been worded real. Because super shoes are inherently unstable, would taping the ankle be a way to help remedy this if you're racing in the shoe?
So, Tom, would you do a low dye taping super shoe to compensate?
Nah, I mean, this is where you just got to find the shoe that suits. I think if you start going down the rabbit hole of having to strap your foot to cater for the shoe, you just need a more stable super shoe. And there's enough on the market now where you can find a super shoe that's more stable than others. And like the classic example, which you touched on, was like Vaporfly versus some of those others that have more surface area. So you just go a slightly less soft or slightly increased surface area super shoe to get the stability needs you require, as opposed to if you're having to strap. I think it's just you're not in the right shoe.
Agreed.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
All right, we'll save some for next month as well because we're going to get a June in before the race. What's coming up? Why don't I roll through a few little releases for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe some stuff that might interest you. Maybe not. I don't know. I've already said a few Kinvara Pros. I've got Triumph.
Are they within the next few months for Kinvara Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with that shoe? Can you tell us like what you'd use it for?
Well, this is the thing. This is one of the issues with sampling. So the first one we saw was soft and it was quite bouncy. Okay. And we're like, okay, this is a lightweight trainer. This is going to be good for someone who wants an up-tempo kind of threshold type shoe. Yep. And then the next one we saw, the densities were way harder. Shoe was slappy. And we're like, this might be more of a therapeutic shoe rather than an up-tempo shoe. It's like, we don't know what production sample. We have to go back to the tech, like the product teams and go, what's the right sample? What's the correct one? Like, what's the real one?
When I tried that sample on, it felt like the New Balance More V1 when it first came out, that firm. But look, the Rocker's pretty aggressive in the shoe. It is therapeutic. I reckon it's going to be a 4-foot midfoot offloading shoe, not globally heaps wide. But yeah, so it probably could have been a little bit softer, but once again, you don't know if that's going to be, the release is going to be softer at all. But the one I saw in person was just a bit firmer. It seemed therapeutic.
The first one was softer, yeah. We've got the a new colorway of the Dragonfly coming up, which is pretty cool. Going to be red and black, maybe associated with a team that's in the US. It's going to get retailed over here. Kind of excited by that.
And this will be the last Dragonfly one. This will be the last Dragonfly one before the next one's released, surely. The last colorway.
I saw Nike coming up. I saw their rank. I saw what's available. So there will be. I haven't seen a new Dragonfly yet.
Are you getting the cross country model?
No.
It's not coming into the country. What's the deal?
No.
You're... Yeah, right.
No.
We've 12 cross country runners in this country.
Yeah, look, while we're talking about that as well, are you going to get any of the New Balance, the LDX Spike? Is that going to be a shoe that you can get the Super Comp LDX Spike?
No.
Is Ellie getting it?
I think she's got it, yeah.
Yeah. It looks a good spike.
Yep. There's the Ultra Fly coming from Nike. So that's probably the coolest thing coming up.
So when's that coming out?
A couple of months.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is that plated as well?
Yeah, that's plated. That's plated and Zoom X.
Yeah.
So once you get back on those trails,
might get me on the trails.
Yeah, I reckon that'll be fun. So keep an eye out for that. And then we also have the on spikes coming up. They look really good. So they'll be coming.
Are you getting the 1500 and? Are you getting the 1500 and the 10,000? You are. Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
What's the release date for that?
I think it's July.
You will sell them instantly, I reckon.
Are they going to be expensive? What are they retail?
Not too bad.
Surely.
Not too bad. There are some
not too bad because Dragonfly is 220.
Oh, I think maybe a little more.
Yep.
But not like we've seen some spikes.
Not 350 like the Asics ones.
400 for the Asics.
They were 400 actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So a lot of the brands are bringing super spikes out, but in order to get them to Australia with the small amount that they'd sell, the pricing is just too high.
This is 170, I think. That's a good spike for 170.
Yeah, that's a good. Are you sure that's the right price?
It might be 180. I know the Cheetah's 220. The Cheetah's more. But the Cheetah's very, very aggressive.
No, I think you're right. I think
this is, I believe,
180.
180. It's 180.
Yeah, 180. Yeah, 180. Yeah, yep. So that's the best. That's a good value spike. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not selling a lot of them, for example, but it's interesting. Still, the people that listen to this podcast are probably going to be the people that are more inclined to buy a track spike at some stage.
Yeah,
it's just nice to have a selection. Yeah,
we got a brand bringing out a super shoe next year for $420. That's too much.
Is that Brooks?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a brand new shoe, but that is a lot of money. Imagine going in and dropping $420 on a pair of super shoes.
Mm.
I mean, you blokes would,
yeah,
because you're rich, especially Tom.
Oh.
I just live in your kitchen.
You live in the Shire.
The Shire, it's like the cheap part of Sydney. I'm like just like being pushed out of Sydney.
You're on the bike. You're on the beach. All right, yeah. So next month there might be some shoe. Maybe depends what time in the month we record, but we might have some new stuff to chat about. Maybe some new hiking shoes that you boys will get around.
How's that Ultra Olympus going? The hiking shoe? You selling a bit of that?
Yeah, not bad. We're doing pretty well with the Cloud Rock 2 from On. That is a clean looking hiking shoe. And also the Cloud Wander waterproof, which is like their hiking shoe, not boot. It's like a low cut. It's like you can go anywhere with that thing and it looks amazing.
This is how you sell shoes up on the coast, Tom. Hiking shoes got to look good as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
What do you guys got coming up? Like you're competing this weekend, Julian. You're going to get yourself back into shape. Tom, you're getting back into jogging, so you'll be up to 100 Ks a week within a week or two. It's usually how you get back into it.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
I'll be racing in a few weeks.
You won't go to Gold Coast, will you?
What's that?
You won't go to Gold Coast, will you, Tom?
Lana's racing the half, so I'll be up just watching with the kids.
Nice.
Won't be racing.
A real athlete.
Good. Are you going to Launceston, Julian?
Nah. I'm going to Gold Coast, though.
Yep, cool.
Come up to the Gold Coast, Nitta. Race.
No, I've got the conference at Brisbane month before. I can't do back to back. No, we divorced if I do that. Yeah. Yeah. Christine's not going to run the half marathon up there, so I've got no excuse. Not enough runners in the family.
Sign her up then.
I don't think she wants to. She doesn't really like it as much as Lana does. Lana's real competitive. She's got a real mean streak in her, Lana. She's real competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. It's good to chat to you guys again.
Yeah,
keep training.
Thanks, fellas.
And speak next time.
Enter the 2023 Gold Coast Marathon now and run your best race this July. 60% of runners achieve a PB at this event, and you can too. Head to goldcoastmarathon.com.au to enter now.
But here I stand, a man whose roots he understands, and I'm gonna hold my head up high. I was told as a young man, doesn't matter if you're white or black. Just show love to everyone you meet, doesn't matter if it don't come back.